Welcome back to Ghost Pirate Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we talk about the 10 most underrated werewolf horror movies of all time. And let's get to the list.
Is simple. Telling Gwynnick, by the mere definition of the word, is a werewolf.
Whir is a 2013 creature feature psychological horror movie. Directed by William Brent Bell, it stars A.J. Cook, Brian Scott O'Connor, and Sebastian Roche. In France, an American attorney defends a murder suspect who has a brutish appearance and a deadly secret.
At 1452, we apprehended the suspect.
The man accused of these crimes, one Talon Gwynnick.
He had hair all over his hands. They were huge. He was tearing my boy to pieces.
So like all of the movies on this list, this is a very underrated film, but this one may be the most underrated because even people that are into werewolf movies haven't seen it. And it's so surprising to me because this is so well done. It's unique with cool creature designs, and the premise itself is different with a lot of twists and turns. But I just think when you boil it down, this is a badass creature feature horror movie and one you definitely need to see. Howl is a 2015 British horror movie. Directed by Paul Hyatt, it stars Ed Speleers, Sean Pertwee, and Holly Weston. When passengers on a train are attacked by a creature, they must band together to survive until morning.
What is it?
Run!
Back on the train, everyone!
Go, go, go! It's coming!
This film is violent, gory, and absolutely savage. It has one of the more fun werewolf designs in recent memory. I just really think they're aggressive, brutal, and absolutely ferocious. This is a simple movie, but with a lot of atmosphere and mood. Just the way that it's shot on this foggy night with the moon is just creepy and just so much fun. I think this is an absolute hidden gem that deserves more attention in the werewolf genre.
You're behind me, aren't you?
Dog Soldiers is a 2002 British action horror movie. Written, directed, and edited by Neil Marshall in his directorial debut. It stars Sean Pertwee, Kevin McKidd, and Emma Cleesby. During a routine nighttime training mission, a small group of British soldiers find a bloody massacre, with a sole survivor that identifies that what hunts them is werewolves.
Help me.
Captain, what happened here?
Talk about badass, full of action. I mean, this movie is just got it all. If you're a fan of werewolf movies like I am, but you also like blood and action and violence and war type of stuff, this movie is just so much fun. And it's full of humor as well. Like, I was surprised when I rewatched this not too long ago, just how much the humor in it still holds up, and it's very, very funny. But the werewolf designs in this are some of the best you'll ever see. And yes, as much of a cult following as this does have, and as much werewolf fans I've heard talk about this movie, beyond the small fans of werewolf horror movies, this movie is just unknown. And I've always held out hope that they would make another sequel. There's been rumors forever, but who knows if we'll actually see one. But I hope that eventually we do, because this movie deserves more attention, and if you made a sequel, I think it would get that attention. Either way, it's a badass, savage movie that is definitely worth your time. The Cursed is a 2021 gothic horror movie. Written and directed by Sean Ellis, it stars Boyd Holbrook, Kelly Riley, and Roxanne Duran. In 19th century France, a man arrives at a remote country village to investigate an attack by a wild animal. However, he soon discovers a much deeper and sinister force that has the townspeople in its grip.
What are you willing to give me if I deliver him over to you?
So this is one of my absolute favorite movies from 2021. And it's really a crime how little this movie is talked about. I don't know what it is. I don't understand why it didn't get more publicity. I know a lot of it had to do with still the pandemic kind of stuff going on. A lot of theaters still weren't open. And even the ones that were still weren't getting a lot of play. I know because I worked at a movie theater at the time and we were dead as a doornail. And so I know that had a lot to do with it. But also they changed the name because originally this was called 8 for Silver, which I like the name so much more, and I wish they had kept it that way, because The Cursed, everybody just thinks it's a remake of the Wes Craven movie. And it's not. It has nothing at all to do with that film. I like that film. That movie's cool. But this is a very different type of movie. But this is so original and unique, from the creature designs to the lore. There's just so much creative stuff involved in this. It's a very different kind of story. And it really takes a lot of twists and turns, because on its face, yes, it kind of is a werewolf movie, but it also kind of isn't. And it's all kinds of stuff wrapped into one. But it's full of surprises, and it's beautifully shot and directed. The cast does a really great job. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite movies from the last few years. So if you have yet to see this, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Lou, you're a wolf.
WolfCop is a 2014 Canadian comedy horror movie. Written and directed by Lowell Dean, it stars Jesse Moss, Amy Matasio, and Jonathan Cherry. The plot's about an alcoholic small-town cop who transforms into a werewolf after being cursed. Okay, this is not a serious movie. This is actually a rather stupid movie. But it's very, very fun. It's very funny. There's just so many twisted, crude type of jokes in it. Things that really surprised me. But it's got lots of gore. It's just not a movie to take serious at all. It's a movie that leans into the campy quality. It makes fun of itself. It's just about having a good time with. And I think it's so much fun. There's just so many creative choices in it. I love the visuals. The style of it has this gritty kind of underbelly kind of quality to it. And there's even a sequel to it as well. So if you enjoyed this, definitely check out WolfCop 2 as well. But I think it's an absolute blast, and one that definitely deserves more attention. Werewolf by Night is a 2022 action creature feature TV special. Directed by Michael Giacchino and based on the Marvel comics of the same name. It stars Gail Garcia Bernal, Laura Donnelly, and Harriet Sanson Harris. The plot follows a lycanthrope superhero who fights evil using the abilities given to him by a curse brought on by his bloodline.
Tonight, it is every hunter for themselves.
Good luck.
So when this came out last Halloween, it did get some buzz, but not nearly as much as I think it deserves. And I guess they're re-releasing it this year and colorizing it, which I get because I'm guessing it'll get a little bit wider of an audience. A lot of the younger crowd, that whole black and white thing just turns them off. But at least for me personally, I loved that it was black and white. It just was such a cool throwback and paid homage to all those classic horror movies, all those Universal classics. And I thought it was beautifully done. It's well directed, the cinematography is fantastic, the CGI and special effects are impeccable. It's full of action and fun gore with some really unique creature designs. It's only about an hour long, so it's really an easy watch. But it's one that I think is perfect for the Halloween season, and a film that I highly, highly recommend. Late Faces is a 2014 drama horror movie. Directed by Adrian Garcia Bagliano, it stars Nick D'Amici, Lance Guest, and Tom Noonan. The story's about a secluded retirement community that is plagued by mysterious attacks until a grizzled, blind war veteran moves in.
Where's your boy? Dolores! Dolores!
Talk about unique. This really takes this whole werewolf story and mythos and comes at it from a really unique perspective, because it is about this older gentleman who's a badass. Like, he's a war veteran, but he's blind, and the whole world seems to have passed him by a little bit, and he's in this old folks home where everybody just kind of has given up and are just ready to die, and this werewolf attacks. And it's really fun watching him try to figure this out and how to survive, and then ultimately how to defend this old folks home. But for a little film, it's really surprising, and it's got a lot of mystery to it, a kind of whodunit, because it's like Silver Bullet in a way, where you're trying to figure out the whole time who the villain is. But it's entertaining with a lot of heart. This is one you should definitely add to your list.
You want to be sheriff? How about we start acting like one?
The Wolf of Snow Hollow is a 2020 black comedy horror movie. Written, directed, and starring Jim Cummings. It also stars Ricky Lindholm, Chloe East, and Robert Forrester in his final performance. A stressed out police officer struggles to not give in to the paranoia that grips his small mountain town as bodies turn up after each full moon.
It's a wolf. Or maybe it's a werewolf.
No, let me just make this perfectly clear. There is no such thing as werewolves.
This is another really fun one, and one that's really flying under the radar, but it's cool. It's kind of a crime drama whodunit mystery, but with lots of humor, but in a dark, morose kind of way, because this cop is so full of anxiety, and it's just fun watching him slowly lose his cool and eventually lose his damn mind. But throughout the whole movie, it keeps you guessing on what is the reality of the situation. And Jim Cummings does a brilliant job in this, because not only did he write and direct this, but his performance in the lead role is phenomenal. Because like I said, you're just watching him slowly melt down and lose his mind, because his daughter's driving him crazy. He's got stuff going on with his dad, who's the chief of police, played by Robert Forrester. There's just all these layers beyond who's this serial killer or creature or whatever is killing all these people. But it takes lots of twists and turns with some fun surprises along the way. But I just think this is an entertaining, creative film that is absolutely worth checking out. Red Riding Hood is a 2011 adventure horror movie, directed by Catherine Hardwicke and produced by Leonardo DiCaprio. It stars Amanda Seyfried, Gary Oldman, and Billy Burke. The story is loosely based on the folktale Little Red Riding Hood, set in a medieval village that is haunted by a werewolf, where a young girl falls for an orphaned woodcutter, much to her family's displeasure.
Tell me who it is.
So I've never really got why this movie didn't catch on more, why there was not more buzz, why more people didn't enjoy it. I'm not saying it's a game changer. You know, this is an underrated list. This isn't best of, so to speak. But I think it's a lot of fun, and especially if you're a fan of werewolf movies, because it's got some fun twists and turns on, once again, who is the werewolf and what the reality of the situation is, but it also has some fun werewolf designs in it. Yes, it is a lot of CGI, you know, everything is mostly CGI in it, but I thought it was pretty well done, enough that I think you can have fun with it. And the cast do a great job. It's full of mood and atmosphere and absolutely beautifully shot. So I just think if you're looking for a popcorn werewolf horror movie, something to not take too serious, this is a great pick.
Snag a wolf, you gotta outwolf him.
Hunter x Hunter is a 2020 psychological horror movie. Written and directed by Sean Linden, it stars Devon Sawa, Camille Sullivan, and Nick Stahl. Joseph and his family live in the remote wilderness as fur trappers, but their tranquility is threatened when they think they are being hunted by a rogue wolf. So Joseph leaves his family behind to hunt it down.
This isn't a normal wolf.
It's just a hungry wolf looking for an easy meal. I will catch it.
Wow, this movie is dark and twisted and not at all what I thought I was getting in for. Because this is not like any of the other movies on this list. This is a very twisted, absolutely fucked up film. Because it goes in some super dark directions with some really disturbing surprises, things that are absolutely make your skin crawl. It's also so full of tension. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. My stomach was even turning in knots. I was just like, what is going on here? What's gonna happen? You know, one of those kind of things. But as far as a film goes, it's extremely well made. But just be warned, this gets absolutely horrifically savage, especially at the end. But if you think you have the stomach for it and you like twisted, dark movies, then this is one you absolutely need to see. So do yourself a favor this weekend, guys. Pick one of the movies off of this list, grab your popcorn and your candy, and enjoy! Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Thank you so much for checking this out. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week, I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew, to you guys over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys mean absolutely the entire world to me. And if you would like to find out how you can help support the channel over on Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Or if you want to become a channel member and support the channel in that way, there's a button right down there that says join. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button, and remember guys, horror can be fun! And if you enjoyed this, click right here to watch my list of the best horror movies that take place on Halloween. And I'll see you guys next time!